Just hit that like button, Cindy. It doesn't matter if you're about to have a Charlie horse. Hit that like button. And I hit that like button and I just felt the Charlie horse coming on. I had to laugh at myself, right? Because what you think about is realized. And I think I have just talked my way out of having one in this moment. Hello, everybody. Hi, if you've never met me before, I'm Cindy. I explore the inside and the outside. We show up here every single day during the week, Monday to Friday, and we pick a powerful word and we work with that word all week long, looking at it in different perspectives. Sometimes it's just in a conversation or something I was thinking about during the day. Sometimes it's an insight by somebody that I follow, somebody that I take my lessons from, somebody that I trust and not necessarily respect, and that's the truth. It does take all kinds to make the world. It's part of my mission statement. It's right there with, life is what happens to you while you're making other plans, right? So we are picking our 35th word, but before we did, I just wanted to maybe talk a little bit about the day that I had today. Couple of days ago, I decided because the eclipse was happening today that I would kind of make a little bit of an adventure. I've been kind of slacking when it comes to connecting with Mother Nature, just popping out of the house to go to work or popping out of the house to go grocery shopping, but not really. And I say that, and I just remember like last week, I went for an 8-kilometer walk. So I'm getting those walks in, but it's not consistent. And those walks, because I'm not doing them consistently, are pretty brutal when I do them. Lots of fun, but lots of energy, lots of well, today I got up and I sorted my house out a little bit because there's nothing worse than coming home from an outing or from work or other chores and you come into the house and it's a disarray. So I wanted to make sure this morning that I left my house in pretty decent shape, which I did. Everything just seemed to go very, very well. I had the bus route that I was going to take and I knew where I was going. And yeah, so I got ready, had my shower, and I was right on my timings. I walked out the door and I went down to the lobby, and they're repairing the floor downstairs. And they had put a, what do you call that, underlay when they do the flooring underneath before they put in the hardwood or the laminate. And I walked right over it. I was so into right my mind at that point. I didn't see any buckets, and if I saw any buckets, I just thought it was something sitting in the middle of the floor, and I wasn't looking at it like it was a barrier, like don't cross this spot, right? So I just walked right past these two pails and went to my mailbox and checked my mail. And as I turned around, I saw the skid marks from my granny wagon, and I saw the footprints, right? So I scurried out of there right away, knowing if it was going to be a big problem, they wouldn't have a problem figuring out who did it because they have the cameras downstairs right in that spot. So I was ready to fess up in that. But then I took off in my adventure. I hopped a bus and I went downtown and I popped into the plaza and I got myself a cup of coffee for my outing and jumped on another bus. And I really enjoyed being on a bus that I don't know if I've ever taken before. Though the route I've been driven down many, many times. I got to where Google Maps said to get off the bus, and I started walking, and I spotted the graveyard that I knew was in the neighborhood because I saw it on Google Maps, so I knew I was in the right spot. And so I started walking down this trail towards the park that I said that I wanted to go to. I didn't get, I don't know, I don't think I got 50 feet, and I came to a bench, and I sat down on that bench for a couple of minutes and got my camera gear sorted, and I looked out at the river, right, with its ice chunks and stuff floating down the river, and it was so bright outside. I'm not going to say sunny because there were lots of clouds, but it was very bright outside, and I was connecting with Mother Nature. I needed it so much, so badly. I needed to connect with Mother Nature today. And I went down to the bank of the river, and already the geese are in Winnipeg, Manitoba. There's still snow on the ground in some places, and they're already here in their migration, right? But I went down and I set myself up on a big log, and I enjoyed my afternoon. I think I was there for about 3 hours, right? Not looking up at the eclipse and hoping I wasn't missing the eclipse. I haven't gone through all the footage yet. I was just so bagged. I'm not even done. I was so bagged when I got home tonight. I just have been sitting in sitting in this chair just thinking, oh my goodness, right? You're going to sleep good tonight. I was there for about 3 hours, and then I decided I was just going to go walk and see if I could find this park that I had originally set out to find. And I came across an old bridge and decided I really wanted to check it out. And then I ended up right in a little bit of a, I don't know, along the bank in the forested area, and I was just looking at some primitive structure and looking to see if I could find any old bottle digs or something to make up for the one that I lost last year. I didn't find any of that, so I just carried on walking. And where I was walking, there really isn't any bus service, and I thought I would just hop a bus and go home. But I started walking because I was in a neighborhood that I don't go often, every once in a while, but to walk it, not often enough. Used to bike ride it all the time. It was lovely. But it's one of our most expensive areas of the city. It's where all the big mansions are and everything. So I decided I was going to walk part of the way home, which was probably, I would say, 10 to 12 kilometers away. I thought I would walk a little bit. And then I knew there was a busy drag where I could get a bus, and I would only have to walk down 3 or 4 blocks and I could catch a bus. But I just kept walking, 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 right? Oh my goodness. After a bit, I would have to say, after about an hour, I actually had to take little breaks because it's a very expensive area. They had a meridian in the middle of the road where they had walking paths, right? Because they got to go for their evening walks and stuff. And they had benches, I would say, every couple hundred of feet all along this path. So I didn't sit down at any of those benches, but I was counting the benches, and every once in a while I had to take a couple of minutes just to stand in place because my legs were really, really hurting. So I got some amazing, amazing exercise today. I truly enjoyed myself, thoroughly enjoyed myself in my little, right, it's a little adventure. I didn't have the car, I couldn't get out on the road, and I also needed Mother Nature. And I knew today was going to be a good day to connect with Mother Nature, being the eclipse and all, right? Like I said, I haven't gone through the footage at all. But when I left this morning to go on my adventure, I was just getting ready, and my sister messaged me, and she says, I dreamed about Dad last night, and you know, and drummed up a few memories in me. And she says, and then I woke up this morning and I realized that today was the day that Dad passed away. I went, oh, April 8th? I knew my dad had passed away in the month of April, but I didn't know, right? Time passes by, and I wasn't quite sure what that date was. Now, with my mother, it's a totally different story because she died on November 11th, on 11/11. And I know 11/11 comes across everybody's paths, but there's pertinence in the 11/11 when it comes to, well, comes to the story that I'm been playing out and am playing out, and that is my mother's passing away. And then to find out today that my father had passed away on one of the right most important full eclipses that I might ever see. Now I didn't get to see the full eclipse; it was only a partial eclipse here in Winnipeg, Manitoba. But I was just saying in my live, or when I was filming the adventure. And I wasn't too sure if I was going to film the adventure, but I thought, just the kind of the little serendipities and the crumbs. And I had to, right, practice with the new wireless microphone. I hadn't used it yet, so I wanted to make sure that I had the hang of it. So it was a good opportunity in making a little video for my live that, or for my channel, that I be able to practice a little bit with the new microphone, practice not losing it, because the two last wireless microphones, I lost the microphones right away. They had such terrible, dinky little clips on them that they just easily just brushed off. If you just touched them, they would just fall off. So there was no wonder that I lost my microphones. These clips worked really, really good because I even forgot that I was wearing my microphone a couple of times, and I know I whacked it around a few times. So when I looked down, I was grateful to see that it was still clinging to me, right? And yeah, I think it worked good. Like I said, I haven't gone through the video yet, but tomorrow, well rested. I'm not planning on leaving the house tomorrow. I'm gonna do the laundry and the house chores and take in some lessons, right? Get it ahead of the game a little bit and relax. Because I did. I walked a long way, but I enjoyed the walk. And I think for myself, that walk was very good for me. I needed it. And also, it makes me think that, I shouldn't be slacking on those walks, because I know those walks are basically, well, I've got the bike now, and the tires will be filled up, I guess. Maybe next set of days off, I'll do the tires on the bike. I'm hoping to dig into some of my spring and summer clothes and bring them out and start putting some of my winter clothes away. But we'll see how that goes. We'll see how I feel tomorrow. I won't push it tomorrow if I still feel right. My legs still feel tight, or I do feel like bagged tonight, right? Because I know I'm supposed to be not lenient on myself, but not so tough on myself, not so pushy on myself, right? I can be very controlling when it comes to the things that I want to do and the movement that I want to make, right? And I don't do it in a mean way. I just do it in a way that I'm not taking myself into consideration. So it's not with intent. What I'm doing right now is just trying to pay attention, right? Treat myself kindly, right? I thought tonight, well, maybe you want to have a bath tonight and get in a nice fresh pair of pajamas before you go to bed, right? And I just thought, no, not tonight. I just want to go to bed tonight, right? And get up fresh tomorrow, because I know tomorrow when I get up, I'm going to feel absolutely amazing. Okay, you guys, we are picking our next word We are on word number 35. I am just looking for a highlighter here. Here we go. We're going to pick our 35th word. We have been picking a powerful word every single week, and we have been munching on that word, kind of looking at it in different perspectives, using my experiences, sometimes using other people's experiences. Quite often it is, a place for me to practice in my lessons, to really take note of, have I been paying attention? Have I been sitting in and absorbing what these great thought leaders are out there, right? And they might not think that they're trying to drill something into my mind specifically, right? But I suspect that they really do wish that somebody gets something from the content that they put out there. Just like, I would like that to happen. And maybe in this moment, you're not clicking with, right, whatever Cindy's bringing to the table. But I am optimistic that you might come back tomorrow or next week, right? And maybe there might be something that you might resonate with, that you might be able to move with, that you might be able to recognize, make a choice, and start moving towards some change in your life. And that's how it works. That's how it started with me. And I don't know if I'm in it full force, but I'm in it, right? I am in it. I'm not somebody who gives up in what I'm doing. I've got a bit of a flow going on with what I'm doing here on YouTube and Instagram, because I do share my content and my movement online on Instagram. It's where this show, What's My Good Cheer, started from. And I was there for a couple of years before I said, and I didn't want to say goodbye, and I didn't say goodbye. I just said I was going to show up once a week on Saturdays, and we would do angel cards, and we still have really great connections there. But it's like I was saying a couple of days ago, it's out of that gratitude that I was able to spend some time there and practice my craft and not fully come back to YouTube, because I never left YouTube, because I always had Chatters Live. Or sorry, I always had Chatters Live, but What's My Good Cheer, I started on Instagram, right? So I brought it over here to YouTube, and now it's a daily show here on YouTube. And I am grateful that I wasn't here on YouTube when I was so green in what I'm trying to bring to the table, not just in my outdoor explores, not just in some of those conversations about Mother Nature or my love for history, right? But actually in some of these movements that this world is actually making in our evolution. And we have to go along with it. If we don't go along with it, if we fight it, right? Well, I don't know why would he even want to. I understand I am going with the majority. I would love to be part of the majority, only because, I've been singled out my entire life. And in majority, it's easy to get lost in a crowd. My whole life, right? I was singled out. I wasn't able to move around unnoticed because I was so noticeable. I was an obese child and I was an obese adult. We're talking over 300 pounds. And, I might have got a little bit of a handle, but it was a lot of a adapt and conquer. It was a lot of, I'm not going to say lessons, because, in this movement that I would like to make in being a better, healthier eater, I don't think it's where I'm shining in all truth, right? Yeah, Cindy's still all about the pink ice donuts. In fact, in this moment, I'm having a hot chocolate. Okay, you guys, let's just pick this word. We're going to spend a few minutes on this word. It's going to be my first perspective that comes to mind when we pull up the word. If we happen to get a word that we've done already in the moment, I'll decide whether to pick another word or say, hey, okay, let's munch on this for another week. And more than likely, that's what I'm going to do, because I do believe that things come across your path for a reason. So if that word comes across my path a second or third time, we're going to delve into it for another week. Okay, you guys, here's the word that we are going to work with all week. Have a good one. Something not so movement making, right? Something fun, something light, or something that I could really use or somebody else might be able to use in the playing with the world, or with the word. Not the world. I don't want to play with the world. Okay, here we go. Oh my goodness, we got a great word this week, you guys. And it's probably a word that I could use, because remember what I said when I came in today, I should be doing my evening walks more. It keeps me flexible, it keeps me loose, it keeps it so that I can do those long walks. I did 10 or 12 kilometers today. I'm really proud of myself. I had an amazing day. I got some video and content for my channel. I had an experience for myself. This week, we got this word, resilience. Resilience is that idea that we can just, hello, Nancy, dear. Hello, thank you for popping in tonight. And if that's not Nancy, right? Thank you so much for popping in anyway. And for those of you who pop in later, I hope you're having an amazing day. And just to let you know, we picked this word, resilience, this week. This is a word for Nancy, right? This is a word that Nancy should be teaching this lesson. Anything you want to see, if you're ready to pop in, right, and spew your thing, because Nancy should be the poster child of resilience, right? Now we can pull it up on Google for a description of this word, resilience, but it's pretty understandable for myself when in respect to myself. And it's that idea of pushing back at what pushes you, right? What pushes me? What makes it so that I don't want to move forward? What makes it so that I give up, right? Where I would want to give up. And that's not seeing the progress, right? That's not seeing the movement. We were talking about that this week, what makes me happy, right? For my life is to feel that I'm accomplishing something, to have somebody else recognize that I accomplished something, right? That my accomplishment impacts, whether it impacts me, impacts my family, impacts my environment, or impacts the world, right? I really, really do appreciate this word resilience so much, because I've had to learn to be resilient, because for the most part of my life, you know, I never strived for the big prize. I was always grateful. We're just going to send some good cheer. We're going to send that fire truck to its destination, where it's going to be a false alarm and they're going to have to just turn around and go right back to the station and their barbecue. Well, it's probably a little bit late for their barbecue. Sometimes I go down the back lane and I walk by the fire station and all the guys are outside barbecuing, right? Because they have very, very long, stressful shifts and right. And they are cuties, that's for sure, right? And where would this world be without our firefighters and our paramedics? Okay, let's get back to this word resilience. And you know, I have to say what comes to my mind. The first thing is that idea of being invited to the party. And the first understanding that I had why I was invited to the party was because of my resilience. Because, I'm not willing to give up on myself. I'm not somebody who's going to cave in, right? I will pivot, but I think I've gotten a few lessons under my belt that has made it possible for me to be a little bit more resilient and push against what pushes on me and make it a little bit further rather than going, oh, this is too difficult. I think I'm going to go do something else, right? And then just pivoting and starting all over with something completely different. When in that moment, you might have been only this far away of achieving what you wanted to achieve, right? I'm not somebody who usually gives up, but I am somebody who will adapt and conquer. And I will pivot within what I am doing, which means I will purposely trigger change in what I am doing and I will attach it to what I'm doing. So I'm still doing what I'm doing. It's just going to look a little bit different. And that's a good thing, I think, for the most part, right? Because when we don't feel that breakthrough, when we don't feel that give, when we don't feel that give, when we're pushing up against what's pushing up against us, when we don't feel that lessening of that pressure, right? We can become discouraged in that. And that is a signal, right, that we do need to introduce some change in our life, right? We have to try something a little bit different. And that's okay because that means what we were doing just wasn't working. So of course we want to try something new. One of those reasons I believe that I was invited to this party was because of my resilience. Because I am a never give up kind of person, just like Nancy. It's one of the things I admire in Nancy, but I admire that in Nancy because I see it in myself. Not to that extent, nor do I want it to be even close to that extent. No offense, Nancy, right? But I recognize it in myself, right? And I'm grateful to have people like Nancy in my life to really say, because it's kind of like that idea of, you know, when you're not eating your vegetables on your dinner plate, you haven't finished your whole dinner plate. Your mom gave you dinner, you're just kind of picking at it. You finally finished part of it, but you didn't finish the other part. And your mother says, clean your plate. There are places in the world where the kids don't have any dinner, where they would do anything for those scraps on your plate, right? It's kind of in that idea. Okay, you guys, I am a little bit of a bubble brain tonight, only because I am ready for bed. I am pleasantly exhausted. I am pleasantly pleased with this word that we got, resilience. It's a really, really good word to have, Nancy. Oh my goodness. And Nancy says at that point, I always said, here, and just give it to them. I did that, when my mother passed away. I was the oldest daughter. And I think I had just started my YouTube channel, or I was just about to start my YouTube channel. I was very involved in my brand and in moving forward and creating something for myself, right? I woke up to some ideas without waking up to some ideas, and I ended up moving in a direction in that, right? But I lost my train of thought because I am sitting here all pooped out. We got this word. Let's just cut it now because I'm ready for bed. I feel I'm ready for bed. See my photograph? This is an actual photograph from a full eclipse from 1977. It's one I think of 95 prints or something. I picked this up at the store I work with. I think I got it for like $5 or something. I absolutely love this picture. It usually is over on my wall over my bed. Today I pulled it out because today was full eclipse day, right? It wasn't a full eclipse, it was a partial eclipse here in Winnipeg, Manitoba. But if you happen to see the eclipse, did you get to see the eclipse today? Nancy, did you get to see the eclipse? Just a quick question there, but she will let me because she will let me know because I know she'll be back into this live this week at some point, right? Because if there's anyone who has anything to say on this topic that we have this week of resilience, I think that she would be full of lessons for us, and she's an entertaining character on top of that, and a good friend. A good friend. Okay. Oh, okay. You watched it. Oh, okay. You watched it online or on TV? Oh, you watched it online, I'm assuming, with NASA. That's pretty awesome. Yeah, no, I went out and sat on the bank of the river. I sat on the online. I sat on the bank of a river and I made a little video. So I'm going to try and get that edited tomorrow. If the sound is all good and everything, we'll see if we can get that posted in the next couple of days. A little outing that I had just to ground in Mother Nature. Sometimes we need that connection, right, to the world. And I really, really do connect with the world through Mother Nature, the birds, the water. It was just beautiful. It was a beautiful spring day, hardly any snow on the ground at all, right? The ice chunks in the water moving by. Yeah, it was absolutely amazing. But I'm ready for bed. I will be back tomorrow. Um, oh, okay. That's amazing. Nancy says that NASA did the eclipse from Texas to Maine. That should have been really interesting. I bet you I could catch that on replay too. I just might. Probably not tonight, but maybe tomorrow, right? Maybe it'll be something that gets suggested to me. Okay, you guys. Have a great night. We'll see each other tomorrow. I'm about to have, I think, no, I'm not going to have that bath. I'm just going to get into my pajamas and go to bed. Everybody, have a great night.